So, Steve, I'm so thrilled to be here, and especially on your 100th anniversary, your centennial. And can you just talk to us a little bit about how higher education has changed over time? And now that you're a grandfather, since you've been at the University of New Haven, what you foresee in the future in higher education?
Thanks, Adrienne. It's a great question as we move through our 100th anniversary and the celebration this evening all around that. Frankly, higher education has not changed. It hasn't changed since the University of Bologna opened its doors over 1,000 years ago. I studied at the University of Tübingen. That university was celebrating its 500th anniversary.
Wow.
And still nothing had changed since the founding of the University of Bologna. College university faculty are change agents. They teach change, but they resist change in their own business and in their own backyards. But that's not sustainable. So you asked, how are we going to change? I think if you look at the economy in the last 15, 20 years, starting with Amazon and how it changed the bookstore industry, no one expected that to happen. No one ever dreamt of Amazon dominating the world retail market like it does today. No one dreamt of Airbnb or Uber transforming their industries. And what these companies have in common is they're all incredibly customer focused. And I don't just mean customer service, because at the University of New Haven, we're outstanding in the area of customer service. I mean that they let customers drive how they do business and how they interact with customers. And higher education does not do that. You just saw a wonderful student speak, and Hannah embodies something I say all the time. Our students have changed and we haven't. Well, we've got to start changing, or an Amazon type entity is going to come in and do it for us, and frankly replace all of us in higher ed, except maybe the Ivies. So we've got to get working, and that work has to be to listen closely to students. And you mentioned my grandchildren, to listen to the students who are in daycare and kindergarten and how they're learning and what their expectations are and what their understanding of the world is, because they're frankly already a lot more technologically sophisticated than we in higher education are. So we have a long ways to go, and we have to begin by learning from our students and not just expecting our students to learn only from us. It's no longer a one-way street.
Give me your number one story that has sort of stuck with you through your tenure, almost 16 years at the University of New Haven as the president. What face do you see when your head hits the pillow at night that keeps you wanting to get up early in the morning and serve the University of New Haven?
Man, that's a tough one, Adrienne. I've got 4 kids, and if you ask me, which one I want to talk about, I'd have to talk about all of them. So
right.
The one image that comes to mind is our hero of Normandy, who we honored at one of our freshman convocations. He was a graduating senior, and that year he had done, this was about 10, 11 years ago, a summer study abroad in France with a French professor. He was a criminal justice major, but he wanted to go to France, so he tagged along, and he and the professor and 15, 20 other students were standing on a hillside overlooking Normandy Beach and talking about the invasion and learning about the invasion. And suddenly this young man, who was about 6'3" and in great condition, in front of everyone, stripped down to his underwear and went charging into the English Channel, into 7-foot waves, literally 7 to 8 foot waves. There was a couple on the beach screaming for help in French. Their children were drowning.
Oh my God.
The 10-year-old girl was already unconscious. Her brother, a 12-year-old, was struggling just to stay afloat. And this young man rescued those 2 children and brought them to shore. The only mistake he and others made was we never got the parents' name to find out what those students are doing now. But when I think of the young man, when I think of that image of what he did, not just the heroism, but the lives that he allowed to continue, I keep thinking to myself, could be that young man or that young woman are behind a vaccine for COVID-19, that somehow we're responsible for saving as a university so many lives,
Yes.
for impacting society in so many ways. how do you measure the impact of all of the individuals who we've given opportunity to, who have gone out and given opportunity to others and helped make this a better world? So that image of that young man is the
Wow.
story of the University of New Haven.
Wow.
Over and over again.
Well, it's also, you know, it's proof on the campus itself. The reason that the university has been around 100 years and you've led it into the new century is because you got results there. The education was of such a caliber that people went out and made it. And they don't forget the University of New Haven. Your alums are very loyal.
They are.
And they spread the word too. So it's
And you know,
really
Adriana,
magnificent.
in your first commencement address that you did actually in my second year, so 15 years ago, you opened with this wonderful metaphor of the checkered tablecloth. And that's who we are. And we are. And it's those first generation students, and 30% of our student body are still first generation. What that means is an incredible level of gratitude for the opportunity and the education we offer them, but it also means an incredibly powerful work ethic. And so when you talk to employers in the area and regionally and nationally and even internationally, our graduates stand out over and over again. In engineering, for example, compared to MIT and Georgia Tech and schools like that, the engineers at places like Sikorsky will say, it's the ones from the University of New Haven that make this company succeed. And it's the work ethic, it's the drive, it's the sense not of entitlement, but of opportunity.
And there's also this sense of service always is what can I do? And Steve, you and Antimony have been great about that because you brought people together. How can we serve this concept of making the world a better place through education with each other?
And I'd have to turn that around and say, I'm grateful to you for all you've done for the university. And I know you do it because you value who we teach, and you value what they stand for.
Well, your students they're amazing. There's nothing like sitting up there at graduation as they go by, watching their families just stand up in their seats and so thrilled and so proud. And you can tell that they are on a mission to change things, which Absolutely. I feel you were on a mission to really shore up the university when you got there. It's very powerful during commencement when we process with the faculty. They are, the great minds of their generations. And it's so moving. It's so emotional. Every time I come and I'm part of that, I learn something new. But you have put together an incredible team. And the proof is in the students and their ability to get out in the world and navigate and get great jobs. That gets lost now in higher education because, there used to be a thing where a college education wasn't about getting a job. Then it became not about getting a job. And now we're back to how am I going to serve and how am I going to find a career out there? How do you think the University of New Haven uniquely trains that person to go out in the world and say, I'm going to do the greatest work of my life?
My immediate answer is the experiential based type of education we deliver, right? And that plays a huge role. You don't just learn theoretically at the university, you apply what you learn. That's in our DNA. And that's my gut reaction to your question. But actually, what really makes the university so powerful is the confidence we instill in people.
The student comes in one way and leaves a completely new person with their education from the University of New Haven under their belt. Now, you have grown. I mean, it's obvious to any of us who visit the campus. Every time I come back, I go, well, that wasn't there. How did that get there? And you've managed to bring the alums and the donors and the students together to really make the campus, build it up and make it, it's not only beautiful, you've really expanded the discipline areas on the campus. So Tell us about a little bit about that process and how you came to it and Anamone's role in it.
And the person that's helped me the most, you just mentioned my wife, Anamona. She's my greatest advisor behind the scenes. She pushes back on me more than anyone else, but overall, she gives me great ideas, and she gives me a great sense of when I'm moving in the right direction and when I maybe need to modify my thinking. But where she's played a role that most people don't realize is in what you just described, the fact that the campus has been transformed. I would like
I don't
to
think
say
a lot of people know that Anamone is an artist. She's brilliant. So she's got an eye, as we say, and that's obvious on the campus.
You captured it. You know, I was just about to say, the only way you know I have any taste at all is by looking at Anamona, right? I at least selected an incredible wife. She's my eyes and ears. She's helped architects improve buildings, 3 of our major buildings. She's helped with interiors. She's worked with students on designing residence hall interiors, and she's got great eyes. You know, we had students, families that would arrive on campus my first few years, drive in, turn around, and drive out. And we would watch that and couldn't do anything about it. Now, when you ask students why they chose the University of New Haven, or their parents why they want to send their children there, they mention the campus and they say it's beautiful, and it is.
It is.
So yeah, she's been my eyes and ears. She's an artist, and she pushes back when pushing back needs to take place, and has played a big role in what we've accomplished aesthetically.
Well, you and Anamone embody that it takes a village, but you also are the living treasures because you lead and you see what needs to be done and you make it happen and you include the community in that, which is why I think it's the university is thriving on the level that it is because you both put a great deal of passion behind it, and leadership really matters.
Thanks. You know, I'm always reminded when I watch her in action, because she's incredibly charming. And I'll paraphrase the line of Jack Kennedy when he went to Paris for the first time with Jacqueline, who spoke fluent French. And a reporter asked him what he was doing in France, and he said, "I'm here with Mrs. Kennedy," right?
That's right.
You can't do it alone.
Sometimes you feel that way. I'm here with Mrs. Kaplan. But it's true. It's true. The proof is all around you on the campus. I know you also as an English literature professor and educator. And can you talk a little bit about what books what has meant, what author, what has meant something to you? And is it your guidepost as you lead at the University of New Haven?
That's another tough one. You know, I read a lot. I don't watch television. I haven't watched television in
I know.
40-something
By the way,
years.
I have to tell you, the fact that you two don't watch TV drives me crazy, because I come at you with names and you go, "We've never heard of them." And I go, "Oh, okay. They're on TV."
So I read constantly, and I read a diversity of things, but you know, there are a lot of books I return to, and some I've read 5 times, 10 times. In the 16 years I've been at the university, I think I've read Don Quixote at least 10 different summers.
Wow.
And it makes my summers. I would say that embodies what we've done at the university, which is to dream and dream big, and not to let the cynics and the realists push back. We've done some incredible things, and we've done them against incredible odds. And I think I've inspired a team of people to think big and to take risks. And I think that's an enormous part of our success. So yeah, if I had to capture one book that also is just one of the most stunning things ever written, that would be it. Of course, I'm saying that to an author who's written a large number of best-selling books, and I've read them all, and I've taught some of your, and I've taught several of your books at the University of New Haven, and the students have met you and fall in love with you, and understandably so. So tell me, what does storytelling mean to you, and especially in terms of the types of students you've met through the university? What does storytelling mean to all of us as we get through life? And what do you think it means to the young people we educate at UNH?
Well, you know, UNH, what's so fascinating is that we know that everybody on the earth has a story. At UNH, there's usually a series of obstacles that got that student to the university. They come from all over, and these stories are fascinating. Therefore, they read with a heightened sense of their own experience. So they're looking for, you know, when the headlines come out and everybody's throwing around words like diversity, University of New Haven is living it. Our student body is diverse in every way: religion, race, background, first generation, maybe some are Italian, third generation. They come from all over, and it's such a beautiful mix. So when I think of storytelling, I'm excited by the challenges that a person has had in their life and how they overcome them, and how they start here and they get to here. And the conduit on your campus is the University of New Haven experience. So I look at storytelling as empowering the voice, and your faculty does it, you do it, the whole vision of the campus does it, and also this wonderful drive that comes from being on that periphery of the Yale campus. Because there's always a lot of hoopla about the Ivies, but frankly, what's happening on our campus is so exciting and essential. It's changing the culture. It's bringing people together. And I think that's the essential thing in storytelling that's important to me.
That's a beautiful answer.
So Steve, with everything that you have accomplished at the University of New Haven, if you had a magic wand, what is the one thing that you would do on the campus that you haven't been able to do yet?
I would let the students design and drive everything we do. They do it to some extent, but you know, there's a famous foundation, the Olin Foundation, and that foundation funded probably 25 different science buildings around the country. And then the foundation said, you know what? We're going to create a college, Olin College of Engineering, and we're going to let students design it, and the entire foundation is going to go into funding that institution. And the students designed the curriculum, they designed the delivery of the curriculum, and it's one of the best engineering schools in the country. The rest of us need to learn from that lesson. If I could wave a magic wand, it would be that the University of the future is now, and it's on the campus of the University of New Haven, and it was designed and executed not just through the input and participation of students, but that the students actually felt that where they were studying and how they were studying was the way it should be.